Well, good morning, and let's do some more work on Repulse Monkey. So, how do we work on Repulse Monkey? We start with the bear. So, do the bear a little bit, wake your joints up, wake up your mind in the dantian, wake up feeling the air around you, breathing, relaxing, and bring some attention to your hip joints, and in particular, the motion as you shift toward a leg and turn to the outside, what's happening in the hip joint of the leg you're on, and also what's happening in the hip joint of the leg that you're moving away from. So you're always leaving that other leg behind, but that doesn't mean that that half of your pelvis is being left behind. You want the whole pelvis to rotate toward whichever direction you're taking it. So that means as you're closing one hip joint, you have to actually let go of the other one so that you turn fully and you're not held back by just turning on one side and leaving this as a something that holds you back. You have to let that go so that you have the full rotation. And the astute observer will notice that this is the same problem that we have in Repulse Monkey. So as you're doing this, really feel what's happening in the emptying hip joint as well as the filling one. You can bring awareness down to the bottoms of your feet, feeling the tripod on the emptying foot, making sure that that still stays connected, and that as you turn, the emptying knee is going to go a little bit forward. It will not come with you. That's part of moving away from this leg, but letting the body rotate over the emptying hip joint as well as the filling hip joint is going to give you more space. So become aware of that. And you will realize that it's just not very different if you do the bear or if you do Repulse Monkey. The difference is just where your legs are and what your hands are doing, but the action is the same. So if you put one foot in front of the other, but your feet are still parallel, and you turn toward the outside of the leg you're standing on, if you don't let go here and let the whole body rotate over it, you won't have as much mobility and turning range. So you can just kind of check this out for yourself. You can do the bear a couple of times, becoming aware of how you let go of the emptying leg and still rotate over it, even if it doesn't have weight. And then play around with putting one foot out and making that same shape. You can just kind of go back and forth on the one side and feel the amount of turn that you get. It's limited because we're in parallel feet, but turn and then feel how letting go here gives you a little more turn, and really releasing this leg and letting it hang. And then you can come back to doing the bear, which gives you a great opportunity to practice that, and then put the other foot out and get that same feeling here. And notice I'm not trying to go all the way, I'm just letting a little bit of turn play out. What you really want to be aware of is not having the emptying leg hold you back. I mean, at some point it does, but you want to free it so that it doesn't hold you back. Notice what you have to do, what you have to let go of to make that free moving so that you can rotate over it. And then back to the bear. So when you're standing around doing the bear, pay as much attention to the side that's emptying as to the one that's filling, you know. They go together, and your ability to rotate over your legs is going to be increased if you can let go of the emptying one. So let's do a round of Repulse Monkey. I will note that as we've been working on this, we haven't even done a first third, let alone a whole form as a group, as part of this lesson. Well, there's a lot going on, and you know, we've already done our morning form. You should do yours at some point before or after, but we want to just focus everything on this Repulse Monkey because it's got so much going on. So we're just going to start from fist under elbow, and we'll do a couple rounds of Repulse Monkey just to get in the spirit of it. And do pay attention to the emptying leg as well as the filling one. So get yourself nicely situated on your legs and begin. As you turn, letting go of the emptying one as you're filling the other. So turning over both legs. And everything that we looked at in the Tuesday night class, is still appropriate for bringing this awareness. And now you're just adding another piece to it. And let's stop there, and we can reset and do another round. Focusing on how you turn, and in particular, letting go of the emptying leg. Notice how much turn you can get. It's not much, but it's more than you may think if you can release the emptying leg and stay over the tripod on both. And take a break. So in addition to everything that we worked on in the last session, now we've got this, there's another thing to talk about, which is which way are you going? Are you walking backwards? Are you pushing forward? The name of this move, Repulse Monkey, we were told implies this idea of a monkey is chasing you, and if you turn around to try and run away, well, the monkey just leaps up on your back. So you have to keep your eye on it and keep it from attacking you. And so you're going away from it at the same time that you're sending something out in order to keep it at bay. So, I don't know, I've never been chased by a monkey, but that image, at any rate, is really useful because it can seem like we're just retreating. And there's a difference to how you think about it for how it feels. So I want you to do this with me. We're going to do some walking exercises, walking back, stepping with your foot going backwards, and your awareness is going to change, and you're going to see how that changes the feeling of taking the same kind of steps backwards. So give yourself some room, go stand up close to a wall so that you can walk away from it. And when we're doing Repulse Monkey, we're walking toward the back of the room, not away from the front. So let's start by walking away from the front of the room. And then remember, you're always walking parallel feet here. So bring that into it, but we'll talk about that in a second. I just want you to walk away from the wall that you're facing and pay attention to what that feels like when you're walking away from the front. Okay, and now come forward again. And now this time, I want you to walk toward the back. So your awareness is focused on feeling more of a 360-degree reality, because you're walking towards something that you can't quite see. And now come forward again. And do that another time. You're walking toward the back of the room. And so become aware of what you're noticing about that difference. And then we'll walk away from the front again. So this is a retreat. You're moving away from what's in front. And now, once again, we're walking toward the rear of the room. Okay, and take a break. So, what did you notice? I know you can't just answer me, but I can tell you some of the things that I notice. One is that I don't really feel the front of the room receding when I'm walking toward the back. When I'm walking away from the front of the room, it's going away. It's getting further and further away. When I'm walking toward the back of the room, it doesn't feel like it's receding the same way, because my focus and awareness has changed. And I have this sense of reaching for the back wall with my heel. It's a little bit like if you're in a swimming pool doing the backstroke, and you're on your back, and you know that there's an edge of the pool up, and you don't want to just slam your hand into it, and so you've got a little bit of awareness of what's there, and when your arm goes back, you're a little bit reaching for when you're going to find that wall. I feel a little bit of that in my heel as I'm stepping toward the back of the room. And by the way, that helps keep my feet more parallel. It's always worth double-checking your feet when you're working on this, because what feels parallel and what truly is parallel, even after a lot of years of practice, can be misleading. So actually getting your feet parallel, it's worth doing a round of it where you just keep stopping and seeing if you actually got your feet where you thought you got your feet, and really looking at the heel as well, and not just, oh, okay, that was close enough. You might feel like you have to go a little bit duck-footed and put your heels out, but then at some point you're walking like that, and that's not it either. So it can be hard to get that sense. So you need to spend some time on that. But I think that reaching for the back of the room with the heel really helps get the foot in the ballpark of parallel. So let's do another round of Repulse Monkey and bring some focus to, all the other stuff we've done should be a little better now. So bring some new focus to that feeling of walking toward the back of the room with parallel feet. So begin. And so with each step, you've got some awareness behind you. Moving toward the back of the room. And take a break. Let's do it another time. And begin. Reaching for the back of the room. While still having some awareness in front of you. And let's do it one more time. And this time, after each one, we're going to stop and take a look at our feet and just get some a reality check on whether or not we're really parallel. Again. Okay, and stop and take a look. Fix it if you need to. Notice how you need to fix it. Next one. Stop and check it out. Look at the whole foot. You might be doing a better job on one foot than with one foot back. Do another one. And that stepping with one foot works better than the other. That's okay. Just become aware of that. Stop and check it out. Okay. So you can get some information by doing that, and then you see, oh, okay, my right foot tends to turn out or whatever. And so then you can bring awareness to making that little adjustment that you need to get the right foot to point directly, or whatever your problem is. But do pay attention to that and don't just assume, you can't turn the form into, constantly checking yourself and, but every once in a while, it's a good idea to stop, take a look, see if reality matches your perception, and make little tweaks if it doesn't. So the other thing that I was saying about the monkey attacking you is that something has to go forward even as you're shifting into your back leg. And so it's got this, it's not that we're splitting ourselves and I'm stepping back and pushing out, but that if you can keep your central axis relating to ground and heaven and all that stuff and turning the waist, things will happen that enable you to get your weight into the back leg while still expressing something forward. It can be tempting to make the move feel like this, where it's going out and then you settle in your back leg and everything falls back in. But this hand does not want to fall in at the end. It wants to have a little expression outward. We'll get into that more as we keep exploring this, but I just want to put that idea out right now so that this focus of moving away versus, moving toward the back of the room rather than moving away from the front of the room should not make everything withdraw. There's still something that comes forward at the conclusion of the move. So let's, I think maybe it's time for you to do that. We'll do it one more time, and then I'll let Lee do the next thing. So now you're going to notice, in addition to all this other stuff, how the final movement has something that goes forward. This hand is extending even as you settle and do the next move. Let the front hand extend just a little bit. Noticing what it takes to keep that hand feeling like it's going forward. Now let's do another round, and I want you to get the different feeling. So we'll do, let it fall back in so that you feel it. And go. Okay, and so you're settling and let everything come in. Do it on the other side. Feeling that front arm withdraw a little bit, come back. And now, as you settle into your rear leg, let that send something forward out of the front hand. And you know from the previous exercise, the previous day that we worked on this, take a break, that you're not just falling back. So if I were just falling back, I might be able to get that front arm to feel like it's going forward on a gross level where I'm falling back and that just sends something forward. So here's a clue. It's not any of that. You have to be going into your, coming up the rear leg, and let that send something out in this hand rather than letting it all retreat or falling back and shoving out. So it's not that you're going in two different directions. That's part of what makes this such an interesting and complicated move. So now I'll turn it over to Lee, and he will give us some more information that helps make what we're talking about manifest in your body.
Okay, I'm going to pick up right where Beth left off. And one of the things in both Repulse Monkey and Cloud Hands is that a lot of times people miss the actual final posture. So the actual final posture in Repulse Monkey is here. And then again, here. And a lot of times what happens is people turn this into like some kind of crawl or something, like swimming. And so it feels like what you're doing is going from here to here to here. And that misses the final posture. Same thing happens in Cloud Hands. The final posture in Cloud Hands is here. And then again, here. And people turn Cloud Hands into side to side. So when you're looking at that extension of the hand, when you do the sideways monkey crawl, you miss one of the pieces. That as you get into the final posture, that's the extension of the hand that Beth was just talking about. Cross balance from the foot you're standing on to the opposite hand. And then this is a new gesture. And here as we get to this final bit of extension, that's what Beth was talking about, cross balance from the weighted foot to the opposite hand. And then this is a new gesture. And so what happens is people just go right to there and right to there. I'm having trouble doing it wrong, but but you see what's happening there. Then you confuse the extension here with the following thing, and you think this is all one going out, and it's not. The hand comes in, and you settle, and it's strong and solid, and then you do a new motion, and the hand comes in, and you settle, and it's strong and solid, and then you do a new motion. So let's do it another time. We're going to do a lot of Repulse Monkeys in the next half hour. Let's do it another time. And I really want you to feel that final posture and have it be distinct from the next move, rather than just goes right through there with no distinction. So from fist under elbow. And go ahead, turn back towards the front, stepping. Hands are switching, and settle. Final posture. Feel from your left foot to your right palm. Strong, solid. And now a new gesture. You turn, the arm extends. You turn back. You step. You shift and settle. Strong, right foot to left palm. A new gesture. Turn, turn back, step, shift underground, and settle. Final posture. Strong from your back foot to your front hand. Great. So that extension that Beth was talking about, where it's easy for that hand to come back in, is right at the final posture. And so if you can get this solid, then that'll really help. So, we've talked a lot about the hand that's going forward. We haven't talked much about the hand that folds over yet. So let's look at that a little bit. And on Tuesday, Beth was talking about the use of the heel and the ball while you're stepping. So let's review that for a second, because it has a lot to do with the other hand. So take it from fist under elbow. So in fist under elbow, your left foot is resting on the heel. Your left ankle is as relaxed as it can get. So if your foot is just right down on the ground, width of a sheet of paper off the ground, but you're really on the heel, that's okay. And that is better than pulling the toes up, which will tighten the ankle. So check those two things out. Get your left leg as relaxed as you can, and really soften the left ankle. It should be totally soft. And the reason the ball comes up is because your sit bone drops, your knee buoys, and that rebalancing of the leg floats the ball off the ground. And so let that foot be as relaxed as you can. If it actually lands on the ground, but you're connected through the heel, that is good. Now, lift the ball and feel what that does to your ankle and to your foot and to the back of your thigh, all through the leg. And relax all of that. And when you relax that, make sure the knee still has a feeling of buoyancy. Sit bone is dropping, knee is buoyant. Okay, so the heel is connected. Turn, the foot goes down on the ground, but you're still using the front heel. Turn back to the front, allow that to bring the heel up so the foot's resting on the ball. And step. Sit down in the front leg till the rear heel reaches towards the back wall and the ground. And then shift. And as you settle, feel that strong going out the top hand. Now you're using the heel of the right foot. The foot's on the ground, but the heel's what's connected. And so use the heel. And now as you come back towards the front, allow that to float the heel so you're connected via the ball. Step, ball touches. Sit down, reach towards the back wall and the ground with your rear heel. Shift underground and back to the final posture. Heel of the left foot is what's connected. Use the heel. Turn back towards the front. The front foot will come up on the ball. Step. Sit down, reach towards the back wall and the ground with your rear heel. Shift underground into the final posture. Strong from the rear foot to the top hand and using the heel of the front foot. So take a break. That heel ball transition there is actually critical for this. And as a little aside, this happens in the first third too. So when we're doing play guitar, you're in play guitar, you're on the heel. You let the foot down, you turn. As you come back towards the front to get into brush knee, it'll come up on the ball so that the foot is free so that you can step. So just do that with me for a second because it's worth doing. So from play guitar, standing on the right leg, left foot forward. Let the front foot down on the ground and turn. Feel the heel of the front foot. As the front hand drops and the rear hand folds, let the heel float in the air. And now it's easy to step for your brush knee. And do that again. Gather, opening and closing, heel. Let the foot down on the ground, but you're still feeling the heel. As you go around the corner and the hand switch, you're up on the ball, and then you step. And once more. Gathering. Stretch the rubber band. Release the rubber band. Turn. Hands fold. Front foot is on the ball, and you can take an easy step. So Beth alluded to this on Tuesday, but one of the sayings is that the heel has the meaning of root, so that's your connection to the ground, and the ball has the meaning of mobility. So you can just check this out, just standing in any posture, connected with the heel of the empty foot, and move your empty foot and see what that takes, and see what it does to the whole body. See what it takes to actually move the foot. And now let that foot rebalance so that it's on the ball, and now move the foot. So that's showing you the difference in mobility. When it's on the heel, it's difficult to move that foot. You have to do work. When it's on the ball, it's easy to move that foot. And the meaning of root, when it's on the heel, you're actually connected through to the ground there. So you can do things with it, like turn, and then just change and put it on the ball, and try to do that turn. And notice that you're immediately less stable. You're doing more work. And change that to the heel, and turn, and you're immediately more stable. So that's the root difference. The heel gives you more root, even on an empty foot that I can float, than the ball. And the mobility is, it's much harder to step if I'm connected through the heel, because I'm still rooted, than if I'm connected through the ball. So in these moves, play guitar into brush knee or repulse monkey, we're using both of those. We're using, if I'm in play guitar, I'm using the heel for this part because I really need it, and now I'm getting set to step, so I'm up on the ball. And then, of course, as soon as I step, I touch down heel first because this is going to become the weighted, rooted leg. I want connection to the ground right away. So let's do Repulse Monkey again, and I want you to really feel that organic change from heel to ball, and feel the necessity of the heel for the first part of it, and the necessity of the ball in order to be able to step. From fist under elbow, your heel, and the front heel, and now it changes onto the front ball, so that the step is easy. And now you reconnect the heel, because that's going to be root. You need root in that rear leg. Turn, heel of the front foot, turning back towards the front ball of the front foot. Step. If you shifted without getting the heel down, you wouldn't have the root in the rear leg. So you need to sit down until the heel of the rear leg is connected. Now you can have good root connection to the ground through that foot. Heel of my front foot. Turn back organically on the ball of the front foot. Step. Of course you want to be on the ball because you're going to step. Connect to the ground through the heel, and then shift. Strong from the rear leg to the front hand. So that heel ball thing is tiny. It's really easy to not see. It's all through the form. And when you don't get it right, it's going to make you have more effort. If I don't get it right here and I keep connected to my heel, I'm going to have to break the root in order to step. And that will put a little discontinuity, a little break in my form that even if nobody sees it from the outside, once you pay attention, you're going to find that little thing. And so you really want, I don't know which move I'm doing, you really want this to float up on the ball so that it's easy to step. And so that happens all through the form. Repulse Monkey really underscores it, so you want to pay attention to that. So now, having said that, what are we doing with the heel? And what you're doing with the heel there, I'm connected through the heel of my front foot, and I'm using that to drive this first part of the swing. When I do this swing, my bottom arm only gets to about 45 degrees down. I'm not swinging all the way up. With the heel, I'm swinging to about 45. So just do that with me a little bit. Beth's facing, not the direction you face. I'll face the camera. So start out on the left leg, because I'm on my left leg. Repulse Monkey. And now just turn, let the front hand extend, let the rear hand just go as far as it goes, and come back. And turn, let the rear hand swing. It'll swing towards the bottom rear corner. And feel the heel of the front foot. And change to the other side. So you're on your right foot. Feel the heel of your left foot. And turn the arm swings. Heel of the front foot and back. You're using that heel to get this swinging of the arms. Okay, I'm back on the left foot. And we're going to go too far this time. This time, turn and carry your arm all the way up. And I want you to notice what happens between that place where it goes naturally and you lift it all the way up. I want you to notice how that changes everything in the body, what's going on there. So turn and go all the way until your rear hand is parallel with the ground height of the front hand, and come back. Turn the 45 degrees the rest of the way. And again, turn the 45 degrees the rest of the way. And now this time, do it where you only go to 45, and you just let that be where the turn takes you. Do it on the right side. Turn and get the hand all the way up. Notice what that does, and come back to the front. Turn and get the hand all the way up, and notice what that does. Back to the front again. turn all the way up. And now 2 turns just natural. Turn to the 45 degrees using the front heel. Turn to the 45 degrees using the front heel. So this is where the damned arm swings come in, because that's what's going on with this, that exercise that we do where you step and you swing the arm, and you swing the arm, and then you turn it over and bring it back. So in the arm swing, whether it's in roll back or white crane or Repulse Monkey, all of these, the square form and the round form are a little bit different. So when we're doing the square form, you're looking for these exact checkpoints that you go through, and you're going to make yourself get to that. So if I'm doing, I'm working with Ben Lowe, and I'm doing roll back, I'm going to stop here, where my rear hand has swung all the way up, and the front hand has swung out. And then in Ben's words, fold the arm. I'm going to fold the rear arm over. And so that's what's happening, square form. Fold the arm, rear hand folds over. And you can see when I do that, I'm just moving my hands. And this was one of the places where we asked Ben about that. We were like, all movement comes from the dantian. Waist is commander. What's with this folding of the arm? And that's where Ben said, yes. I teach you square form. You figure out round form. In round form, you have to use the waist to turn that over. But I want to see that you're really separating the weight. That when you get to here, you're really all the weight in the back. And then I want you to fold the arm and see that you're still all the weight in the back. And then you shift. And I think, this is me thinking, not what Ben taught, but I think the danger is that people mush them. You get to here, and you're already coming back forward as you're folding the arm. And you see, I'm already in the front, and then I'm just going to fix everything and make it happen. And so Ben really wanted us to be clear about separated, and then shift. And I think, again, this is my speculation, I think he saw so many of us being sloppy and too easy on ourselves and our legs, and he said, you got to take that out and get that crisp and clean, and then we can start worrying about exactly how does the waist turn this stuff. So, of course, you have to do the grueling separation work. You have to do all of that. But we're trying to explore now is how do you get that roundness to happen. And part of the key thing for the roundness is that in any of these, this is one gesture, this is magic that we're going to explore, and then this is another one. So it's got 3 parts rather than 2. When you do it square, it's just got 1, 2. And when we do it round, it's got 3 parts. 1, 2, and then the shifting into it. So there's this turning over that happens quickly, not in a hurry, but quickly, happens in a small amount of space. That's how it's able to act quickly, and gets the waist involved. So we really got to look at this, and might as well do it in Repulse Monkey. So let's do Repulse Monkey again, and I want you to perceive while we're doing this how here's one that uses the heel, here's the magic of turning over that gets you to the ball, and then you go on, versus here, back. So we'll do it, we'll try to use the heel and the ball. We don't need to do the old thing here because you can do that. So fist under elbow, front heel, turn, rear arm at 45 degrees, come back, floats the front ball, floats onto the ball, and step. Final posture, rear foot to front hand. Turn, 45 degrees down, come back, and step. Shift. Strong from the rear foot to the front hand. One more. Turn, front heel, 45 degrees down, turn the hands over, back to the front, on the ball of the front foot. Shift. Strong from rear foot to front hand. So what happens in that turning over? Again, when you first put the turning the waist in, you can do the bend thing, and then sit back, turn, fold to arm. You just moved the hand. So then you start saying, okay, I want the waist involved. And so you turn, and you turn as far as you can, and now you come back towards the front, and you bring everything. That's the first attempt at figuring out how do you get the waist involved. And the problem with that is that it's double weighted and forced. So in order for this to happen, when I come to here and I want my waist to bring this hand, I have to tighten here. And I'm actually forcing that hand. And so it actually is a form of double weighting because I'm on this side and I'm tightening here so that I can make that go. And here's my door hinge, my barn door hinge between left shoulder and left hip that makes me susceptible to being turned there. As opposed to having the strong line, the line of stability, run from rear foot to front hand. And this is all soft and easy, so that I've got my line of stability, I've got this nice easy turn, versus trying to have this be the solid side and turning all of it. So there's a little thing which you have to be able to do, and we have, this is a challenging thing to explain and to get you all doing, so we're going to try it again, which is that the waist moves more than you think. So when I'm doing, say, Repulse Monkey, I turn to here. Look where I am. I am not as far as I can go. And this is even harder because the feet are parallel. If my foot was turned like White Crane, this is easier because I can turn to the corner, and then most people can turn a little further. In Repulse Monkey, you've got less space because your feet are parallel. So you turn, and that brings the arm to here. And now what you have to do is you sort of want to make a curly Q. You want to make a curly Q, which is the shape that your hand is going to make, and you make that with the hip, where you go this way and back. So look at me again as I'm doing this. And now what's going to happen is I'm going to go like that. I go this way and back. So you see, the first motion is not coming back towards the front and tightening this shoulder to bring the hand over. The first motion in the magic little curly Q is this way, and then it comes back. And at the same time, you're going to feel a change in your hand, where the hand is rising along the forearm here, the thumb side of the forearm. And as you do this, your awareness is going to come into the fingertips of the rear hand. So let's give it a shot, and we'll work on that. And the other thing that happens during that little magic curly Q moment is that the empty foot changes from ball to heel, from heel to ball, and does that automatically. That's what makes it magic. So, fist under elbow. We'll stop at the lower arm at 45 degrees place, so the curly Q is real clear. Turn, use your front heel to get to the 45 degree place. Make sure you haven't turned all the way. If you've turned all the way, then you're going to twist to do the rest of this. And now make the curly Q a little further and back. And that brings the hands over, and you're aware of your right fingers now. Step, sit down, reach with the rear heel, underground, and settle. Strong from rear foot to front hand. Right heel. Turn, stop at 45 degrees. That's the end of the heel on the front foot. You can turn a little further. So make the curly Q and come back. Step. Sit down, reach with the rear heel. Shift. Settle, strong from rear foot to front hand. Turn, stop at the 45 degree place. You should be able to turn a little bit more. Do that. Curly Q and back. Feel your right fingers. Step. Sit down, reach with the rear heel, underground, settle, out to the front palm. So, when I'm doing that, I'm here, and now my waist goes that way and back. So as I do this, my waist goes further and back. And it's really important that you not stop at the furthest extreme. It's really important that you not do this. Because once you've done that, you can't go that way anymore. I've turned as far as I can. I have only one choice, which is to come back. And we hate that in Tai Chi Chuan. We never want to go to the extreme where we have only one choice. So as I'm going to the right, I always want to stop where I can go a little more to the right. When I'm turning to the left, I always want to stop where I can go a little more to the left. If I stop at the place where I've turned all the way, I only have one choice that keeps my balance, which is to come back. And to turn further will make me fall over. And so that's really a problem if we're doing this. If we're doing this in push hands, and Beth is coming in and pushing me, and I go all the way back, now at this point I have no choice, right? So my choices are to either have her push me like she just did, or to start forcing forward. And then it's even worse. Valerie always likes it when we do push hands, so she'll come over and explain that if we're doing that kind of game, it should involve the dog. So I never want to do that. You always want to have the ability to go either way. And so in Repulse Monkey, you don't have very much room to go that way. So you're going to use it to turn. You're going to use it to change. And the same thing is happening here when Beth comes in and pushes me and I go back. I'm not all the way back, right? I can still go back a little further and then use that to come into her. If I've gone all the way back, that's the problem place where she's going to push me. So I need to be back here 100%, but I can still move myself further back. And I'm going to use that to turn things around so that I can move her. So I'm going to use that little bit at the end there to change, to transform, hua, to cause the neutralization and the return. So this is right here in Repulse Monkey. As I do this, I turn here, and now I've got a little more, and I bring it right back. So I would never stop here, because that's a place where I've gone to the extreme, and I have only one choice, and that choice is going to involve force. That's like when I pushed back on Beth, right? When I come back here, and I'm all the way back, my only way I can go without falling over is that way, and so I push on it, and it doesn't result in what I wanted to have happen. So same thing here. You're here, your little bit of extra turn is used to bring you back. So don't waste that. Hua is one of the critical core skills in Tai Chi. Transformation, neutralization, change, turning the table around. That's a big, big deal in Tai Chi. We take a direction, an energy that's going one direction, and we turn it around. So that little moment of hua, transformation right there, really, really important. So let's do Repulse Monkey again, and we'll pay attention to that. So from fist under elbow, we'll stop at the 45-degree down places. That's the place you can stop. Use the front heel till the rear arm is 45 degrees down. Make sure you can turn further. Make sure you're not at your extreme. And now use that turn. Curly Q around and back. Step. Underground into the rear foot. Settle. Front hand has a little extension. Turn. Stop at the 45 degrees. Make sure you could turn further. Use that turn. Curly Q. Fingertips of the left hand. That's what you feel now. Step. Down underground. Shifting. Settle out the front palm. Turn. Stop at the 45-degree place. Make sure you could turn further. Curly Q and back. Step. Underground, rear foot to front hand, settle. Great. Okay, so one last little bit, and then we'll call it a morning. And we did this on Tuesday, which is this front hand. As you turn it over, you pull the front hip back, which creates a line of engagement all the way out to your finger. So you're not turning the hand over and coordinating that with the hip. You're actually causing the hand turn to happen with the hip. So how does that play with the curly cue? And when I do the curly cue, I'm here, and I'm going to turn further and back, and that further and back turns this rear hand over and brings my focal point from the forearm to the fingertips, right? As I'm swinging here, you're going to be aware on this part of the arm, and then as it turns over, when you get here, your connection is to the tip of the fingers. At the same time, while that's going on, when I turn a little further, that sends my front hip forward, and when I come back, it draws the front hip back. So we looked at the drawing back part. As it draws back, it creates that line of engagement all the way through to the tip of the middle finger and turns the hand over. The going forward sends the hand out just a little further. There's the start of the parade wave, so that as you draw it back, the hand is in place. If you just think about the drawing back, so I'll do it so you can see. If I just think about the drawing back, see how it pulls this hand back. So I get to here, a little further out, parade wave now engaged as it turns over. So do that with me a couple times, then we'll do another round of Repulse Monkey. So standing on the right leg, Beth will face the same way as you. Turn, stop at the 45-degree place. Don't worry about the bottom hand, worry about the front hand. Further sends the front hand out and up, engage it and draw it back. And do that again, same leg. Turn, 45-degree place. As you turn further, the front hand goes out a little bit, then you pull it back, engaged hip to tip of middle finger. Once more. Turn, a little further and back. Do it on the left side. Turn, stop at the 45-degree place. Notice that when you turn further, it's going to send your front hand out. Further and back as you do that, pull the hip back all the way out to the fingers. Back to Repulse Monkey. Turn, further and back. Once more. Turn, further and back. Great. So we're giving you plenty to work on. When we work in class, we normally try to look at where everybody is and give everybody something that'll move them one bit further. And we try not to give you too much, because it can just be completely overloading. And you don't have the opportunity in class, when we're all in the same room, to press pause and stop and take a break and then resume. People press pause all the time. I do it when I'm there and I'm working with somebody and they're giving me too much. I press pause, and that doesn't make them stop giving it to me. It just means I check out and go away. And so that's what happens. We wouldn't give you this much in a regular class. But we're trying to lay it all out here. So there's a lot between the class we did the other day and this one. There's a lot of material here. And go ahead and digest it at the speed that's appropriate for you. If there's stuff that just doesn't connect with you and doesn't make sense now, file that away, put a little asterisk on it, and say, I'm going to come back to this. And feel free to work through these lessons in little bits. Each of these is probably 4 or 5 weeks worth of investigation in Repulse Monkey. And if we were working with you in person, we would not go through it this fast. So this is the fire hose, and we're giving you more than enough. And we're not done. We're going to do at least one more class on Repulse Monkey, because we haven't really talked about the bellows. We haven't really talked about how you use root and the ground. Rooted in the feet, released through the legs, all that jazz. And so we got to get into that. But you got to have all these other pieces first. So give yourselves time with this, accept that it's a lot, and enjoy it. So let's do Repulse Monkey, the sequence, once more. Actually, we'll do it twice because we're only doing 3 so that we fit the space. So we'll do 3 and then we'll do another 3. And just try to do as much as you can out of all of this. So fist under elbow and go ahead. Strong from rear foot to top hand. Again, fist under elbow. And go. Great. Take a break. Okay, well, that was a pleasant morning, and we will see you all again real soon.